Some men bury the dead. Others bury the space between the living and what waits beneath. Stepan Mirov did both. He wasn't a priest, not a mourner, just the man who stayed behind when the crying stopped. A cemetery keeper, 48, alone. The kind of man who folded memory into ledgers and called it peace. He kept names, plots, weather records, straightened crooked crosses, painted numbers back onto headstones when they began to fade. Like if the lines were sharp enough, the dead would stay dead. I watched him for years, never interfered, but when silence starts to echo, I pay attention. It began with a page in his ledger. He turned it, ready to log a burial. Instead he saw this: Stepan Mirov, died March 12th, written in his own hand. He stared, crossed it out, then again. The paper tore. He said nothing, but something around him began to breathe. 2 mornings later, a grave appeared where there shouldn't be one. No map, no record, but the earth had already been disturbed. He dug, struck wood, opened the coffin. No body, no lining, just a folded gray scarf, his wife's, buried with her 10 years ago. He held it for a long time, then tucked it into his coat and walked home. The next day, a man came to the gate. Long coat, thin gloves, calm voice, said he was from regional affairs. He took the ledger, flipped through the pages like they were blank, then handed it back and said,
"I've seen your kind of quiet before."
Stepan didn't respond, but something behind his eyes changed. Like the phrase brushed a part of him he hadn't opened in years. 2 days after that, an old man sat beside him on a bench near a forgotten grave. Didn't look at Stepan, didn't speak for a long time. Then quietly, "I've seen your kind of quiet before." He stood, left without another word, no name, no context, just the phrase. Dropped like a match on dry grass. Stepan said nothing, but he didn't go back to work that day. He just stood there for a long time, like the world had started repeating itself, and he was the only one who noticed. It was at a funeral, 3 days later. Small gathering, cold wind, someone else's grief. Stepan stood at a distance. Across the grave, he saw a man watching him. Same coat, same height, same scar under the jaw, his own face. The double smiled and mouthed the words, "I've seen your kind of quiet before." That was the 3rd time. And that was when Stepan stopped pretending he didn't understand. He didn't chase the double, didn't question it. He just turned and walked away from the burial, back toward the far side of the cemetery, where the plots weren't numbered and nothing was written down. That night, he didn't sleep. He sat at the table, folded a napkin, unfolded it, folded it again. By morning, 6 blank crosses stood behind the shed. He didn't remember making them. He let the kettle scream itself out, left the front door open all night, didn't wind the clock, and sometimes, when no one was near, he nodded, like someone had just finished speaking. I've seen men lose their minds. This wasn't that. This was quieter, measured, like someone was rewriting him, line by line, smile by smile. A week later, he walked into Sector 5. No tools, no purpose, just stillness. He moved like someone arriving exactly where they'd always known they'd end. And at the far edge, a pit waited, fresh, perfect, wide, and sitting at the bottom of it, him, no disguise, no borrowed face, just Chyort, naked, black-haired, horns curled like bone hooks, eyes gleaming like hot stones in a cold stove, and the smile too wide, too certain. He looked up, grinning like he'd been waiting days to say it.
Took you long enough.
Stepan didn't speak, didn't question. He sat down beside him, like it had all been agreed on long ago. Chyort leaned close.
Quiet ones always take longer. So many rooms in there to knock around in.
Then he laughed. Not loud, not mocking, enjoying it. Stepan didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't speak. He just leaned his head forward, like he was listening. And that's when I arrived. Too late. Too late. Again. That is Chyort. Chyort plays with your mind until you can't trust it. He smiles when your hands start to shake. He laughs when you forget your own voice. He doesn't hurt you himself. He makes sure you're the one holding the knife. Against yourself or someone else. He feeds on chaos, on panic, on the moment control slips and something awful happens because you thought it was the right thing to do. He doesn't stop you. He claps. A week later, someone else wore Stepan's coat. He smiled more, spoke less, tended the graves without hesitation. People said he'd always been there. But I remember Stepan's hands, his silence, his rules. And I remember the thing that broke them. I watch what he's broken. I remember every name he's twisted. He unravels what I bind, turns memory into mockery, leaves nothing untouched, only hollowed. He left me buried, conscious, forgotten, not to end me, but to humiliate me. I won't kill him. I'll keep him whole, strip him down thought by thought, make him watch everything he ever corrupted decay into silence, then leave him with nothing but his mind, and no voice to scream through. Let the pit stay open. I'll be waiting beneath it. You've heard the story. Now decide how long you want to remember it. Subscribe if you dare to return. Like it if you know silence doesn't last. And share it if you think someone else deserves to be haunted.